Just came out of the shower, feeling so hot and bothered. I was listening to Richard Rudd earlier today, and he talked about interdependencies by talking about how we need to move from codependence through independence to interdependence. And I thought, yeah, I hear you. I so hear you. But, and I find this is to be a huge but, kind of like my own. Sorry. Oh, just so hot and bothered. So why is that a problem? So the way he talks about it is what I also think and agree with, which is that interdependence is the state where you can be connected but remain independent and enjoy both, feel, or rather remain independent in every sense of that word, but also what was I going to say with this? So you feel you feel independent. You don't necessarily have to be independent literally, but you feel that too, ideally. But it's more about feeling independent, that you're not codependent, you're not connecting out to codependency, which is how I offer as my observation of the world as it stands, that this is how we are currently still all connecting as codependents. And so let me just kind of take you through how I see this process. So codependence is, like I said, where we are all at some more so than others. But the point is that we feel we are getting something from the person that we can't get from ourselves. That's the kind of essence of codependence. And that's why I always mention like hairstylists, surgeons, doctors, people, I can't operate on myself. I actually can't even cut my own hair. Well, I can now because it doesn't need to be anything other than just shorter. But when I used to have hairstyles, therefore I couldn't, some maybe can. So you see what I mean, where I'm going with this? So then you become independent, but if you're with someone because you feel happier when you're with them than when you're alone, just put it as simple as that, that's a form of codependence. Or it can be a really fertile ground to develop one, maybe. So then the move is to essentially feel as happy, at least, if not, well, maybe not happier, well, at least as happy when you're on your own and when you're with someone. So that would be the independence piece. And then, so if everyone did this and everyone arrived at this point kind of around the same time and at the same level of this independence, then this interdependence piece would be phenomenal. And I would love it too. But because that, I don't think I spoke on a couple of videos at least, that I would love connection. I love connecting, but it needs to be a connection that's good for me, that it doesn't take away from me, that I don't get hooked into, that it's just a healthy kind. And it's a rare beast. I mean, I even don't know if I have one, really don't think I have one that is as independent, or rather as absent of codependence as I aspire. But if I could be in a connection where is, like I say, it's complete independence of everyone involved, but the joy of being connected is just for the sheer joy of it. And there is amplifying always, so you do feel more when you're connected because it's energetically an amplification. So there is that. That's why I kind of made a caveat about being happier when someone else, if you're both happy, there is that happiness that's amplified. So if you're both happy being together, I mean. But if you get hooked on that, it's like I say, so it could be a fertile ground for codependence, could be, doesn't necessarily have to be. So the interdependence piece, like I say, unless we are all on the same level, it is not interdependence, because codependence is an unequal relationship where you think someone has something you don't have, so you're not equal. And I'm talking here emotions, I'm talking here things that actually we all need to provide for ourselves first. And find it in us, independent of others. So yeah, I'm not, like I say, talking some other kind of physical disability where you literally need someone's help because you can't physically live on your own. You know, that's not what I'm talking about here. Sorry, I just always am so conscious of my hair that I love, as I said a few times. So unless, like I say, we are equal in this, we're back to codependency, or rather at least one-sided codependency, which is where I find myself over and over again. So for instance, in my familiar relationships, I love it, sorry. In my family relationships, like my parents, well, my mum mainly, and my brother, is that, and it's not, maybe my mum is a better example, where if you're not both on the same level of that independent, if you're both not equally independent, it just won't work. It's kind of as simple as that. I'm trying to I don't want to go into an example because it's going to go forever, and actually it's boring me slightly at this moment in time. So if you are with me because you actually feel better about yourself or something about my energy being that I'm so independent, let's say, I'm not saying I am necessarily, but I'm just for an example, actually boosts you essentially stealing from me. As in, again, I'm not gonna report you to police, but it's not like that kind of crime, but because you're not equal, and you see me having abundance of this, and energetically I have, but still, if I'm not getting something in return, and we're not having this kind of loop of exchange where we're both refilled and filled up and emptied and then refilled again from being with each other, then one of us is stealing. And unless we are equally independent, this dynamic will be present. One will be stealing from another. So this ideal of interdependence that Richard Rudd speaks about, and I'm aware of, but I hardly speak about for the reasons I just described, is kind of like not utopia. Well, it kind of is actually. But I believe in utopia, meaning that utopia is just a matter of time. Even if it means on another planet, in another world, it's possible, on another timeline or something. But yeah, so yeah, that's it. Interdependence is essentially for it to be. Okay, I'm gonna kind of try to give you an example. I just feel like I want to. So, for instance, like I said, I'm gonna use the example of my family, my mum, and I mean, and it's not fair because she's like in her 80s, and that's a generation that unless you were, I don't know, born hyper evolved or something, yeah, it's a generational thing, and generations are there to sort of progress the evolution of consciousness. So yeah, in that sense, kind of evolution of her soul and into this independent and self. No, she's not there at all. So we would be sitting in the room, and I would be, let's say, just happy to be watching, or I would even want to be just quiet and just do something. But I'm happy that I'm with her. I'm happy that she's next to me, that I can, that she can, and we can maybe talk about here and there bits and bobs. But she completely ignores the fact that I'm actually maybe busy with something, or that I don't want to talk for her, or I don't want to listen to her for the 5th hour in a row, like like in a chunk of time, for instance. So I'd have to work to manage this, and that's the piece that puts the fuck off me, fuck out of me, puts the fuck out of me. Okay, I don't swear a lot here, but I do love swearing. I don't want to be, that's work for me. But now this could be Pluto in Virgo thing, that it's just like, I don't want to work so that someone else can get a piece of me. That's the piece, that it's not my work. And if you want to be with me, you need to raise your game. That's the thing. If you want a connection with me, raise your game to my level. Not that if it's not. And if we're not connected and you want to be connected, it is because we're not. or rather you are not. So, because I don't want to be doing that work, and I've done it so many times. That's why I'm just in this place now where I run away and hid from all of them, and I just, all those past connections and friendships that I had, it's like, oh my God, it's just work for me. And why? Because you want to be my friend? Sorry. That's the most unappealing proposal ever. And that's the that's kind of the thing of Pluto in Virgo that, and actually I'm going to say this, it's 10 minutes, but I was going to make this into maybe a separate video, and I might do it tomorrow again, like just on this topic, but I've been feeling so much anger today about how I'm still dealing with these energies, how I still get to do with my family at the moment. They're like my last bastion, like my mother in particular, but still my brother and my ties there, and I have some physical ties, like I have a property there that they look after, so I'm in major throes of planning how to sell that and just be free from all of that. And yeah, so the anger is that I'm still struggling, as in, you know, the time is still not to do it just as yet, and so on the surface I'm still doing stuff that I'm happy that I'm doing, and it's a major step forward, for me forward, right, away from them. But I know that I'm still plagued with these fears and anxieties, and I'm spending so much time energetically in my head with them, or, you know, in these conversations, in these scenarios, which is all on me, you know, it's completely all on me, I don't have to, but my point is, it's so in me, it's such a sediment in my soul that I'm, you know, what if they need me? What if they, you know, it's my responsibility. I'm just thinking Pluto in Virgo language. You know, if they need my help, you know, am I being awful for not helping them for whatever? And the help really is nothing. I mean, I'm already helping them in any practical kind of sense, but more like emotionally, you know. Oh my God. So yeah, I'm just so, but I suppose I was just lazy as well in many ways as when I was younger. Was I? I mean, when it comes to personal growth, I was like a dog with a bone, so I don't know if it's laziness. I don't know. I might be back on this topic tomorrow. That's it. See you tomorrow.